Hey team, so I got some cool stuff to show you. I've been working on some materials. These are my first three materials I've ever made in Substance Designer, and I like to be meticulous and picky, so they have a lot of exposed parameters that we can mess with in Substance Painter. Um, so this first one that I have, actually, are these wood planks, which if we get it loaded up, there they are, and they look a little weird. They look a little weird on here. If I change it to the cylinder, looking pretty cool, huh? And I got some parameters that I'll show in Substance Painter. And then this other one, I also have glass made, which doesn't really look that good in Substance Designer. But in Substance Painter, it doesn't look too bad. And there's a bunch of parameters that we can mess with too. So I got a bunch of scratches and noise and lots of fun stuff going on with this glass. And I always thought it was frustrating not being able to find glass materials in Substance. So I was really happy to kind of learn this skill. And then our fun cloth texture. And we have a few different designs for it, as you can see. We got two different kinds of roses because I'm obsessed with roses. And this like filigree type texture alpha thing. And then of course the classic like flannel crosshatch texture. So this is my favorite, my personal favorite. We got our wrinkles on there, different weaves, as you can see. And then I also have these like, they're kind of like imperfections. But if I go over here, I have different parameters. So I got purple roses. I have the default that you were just seeing. I have, oh, here, let's change it to cloth. There we go. The cross hatching that I just mentioned, which is like this picnicky type, you know, cloth, right? And then royal green, which is also pretty cool. And then a couple other images that I don't have pulled up, but they're not necessary. So if we go into Substance Painter, this is what I got going so far. I got my wood textures, and I'm working on building this like sort of small diorama environment of a dining table. The goal is to make it like a witch's table sort of thing with a cauldron and a chimney in the background, hopefully, and then some mushrooms. Like, that's the hope, but for scope purposes, I'm only doing the table, like a cutting board, a knife, this glass bottle here, which I'm going to put milk inside of, and then it's going to be like an Easter egg for Zelda, the milk bottle. And I'll kind of go from there. But to start, I'm just going to show the cloth textures. I'll link the video to the wood texture below. But for the cloth textures, get rid of that. Let's show you what we got. So this is what I'm going to do for the seat. I think this is the most like grandma-y feel. Might end up changing it to roses. Who knows? I named it Granny Cloth too. But I'm going to hide that for now and change it to our new one. And I have one of the presets on here, which we have like the noise that you can see, the bevel, and other things. But look at all of these parameters we have. So, gosh, where do I even start? Let's just do the default, maybe. I don't even have the default on here. Okay. Plan B. Default. There we go. Default. That is not good for usually, but it's fine for now because this is just a demo. Look at how pretty that is. Anyways, so if I go in here, I can change the preset, but we just learned I don't want to do that right now. Oh. Try this one more time. Oop. There we go. So I have presets, different ornament pattern settings. Like we can increase the amount of roses that are on there, for instance. Like so. Look at how cute that is. I love it. And then other pattern settings, so like random rotation. You can make it less or more random. Okay. And then that doesn't matter for now. That's a setting that's to be continued, but we have thread contrast as well, which kind of changes if you look inside. Changes how deep they look and how the colors kind of interact with it. So if we turned it all the way down, it would interact a lot more with our high tones and make it a little bit more washed. Ugh, we gotta get rid of this. You can barely see. Drives me crazy. And then we have coarseness. So if we want to reduce the coarseness, we turn it up. And we have indent density. So those are those imperfections I was mentioning earlier. These kind of vertical lines that go through. So if we wanted them larger, we turn it down. Smaller, turn it up. Wrinkles, which is going to be hard to see on this dark texture, but... or dark color, sorry. Then we can change the colors. So, it honestly doesn't matter which is which, just because I have this invert color option here. So as you can see, now the roses are pink. I could change them to blue, and then change the other, like, as you can see, there's like these slightly pink areas. If I wanted them blue, I could change those. And then for the background or the other colors, we can change it to, like, let's say we wanted it to be more gold. We could totally make it gold. Okay, like that. And then we can make it so it's more silky. Kind of turns up the metalness a little bit. I'll probably end up changing that to like a slider instead of a boolean. And if we invert the colors again, oh, okay, that's kind of fancy. Doesn't really work for a chair or this pattern, I don't think, but it's something. I wonder if I turn this down if it'll show the roses a little bit better, because I feel like they're kind of washed out now. I could turn off the bevel completely. That's something you kind of have to fiddle with different settings. Like the first one I had was the original but inverted, and it looked really good. But you have to mess with it a little bit to make it look good. So we'll set that to true again. Invert that, and then got the bevel size, of course, which is the size, like how much the bevel fans out for these. And then different patterns. So I'm actually going to turn this all the way down. I can show you the different patterns I have. I have several. So I have the rose that I just showed you. I have the filigree that we had. Let's turn that up a little bit. And then more roses. Big roses. More detailed roses. Ah, look at that. Love it. 3 or 4 is going to be our hatching, which doesn't look that good. That's why I keep it set to 1, because 1 is pretty much the sweet spot for it. And then lastly, empty. Nothing. And that's like, look at that. That's beautiful. It's perfect. And now for the bottle here, we also have fabric on here. I don't use the preset for this one just because I wanted it to be more colorful in between the lines. So that's where we're at with that. Where is it? It's 105. The glass though, let's move on to that since I haven't shown that off yet. Ignore the seam. You don't see that. So I got a bunch of noise on it. If you can tell, there's like green and red and blue hues. I have a bunch of details getting dug into there, scratches, and different color variations for those scratches. While it's hard to tell, there's like a little white tint to the scratches to make them actually look realistic. And some more parameters that we have here, so I can change the seed. Takes forever to load when I deal with the glass. But I got that, and then I also have scratch width. I have, you can change the colors of the glass. So if I want the glass to be orange, I could happily make it orange. That's yellow, but either way. Could be like a little honey bottle. What else can we do? We can turn down or up the opacity. Come on. You can do it. So the opacity went up a little bit. I can turn it all the way down, which I don't like. I don't think glass ever looks completely clear, so I don't even try. That's taken the longest. There we go. So see, you can see through it a lot more now. And then I can also add more imperfections. I can make it completely like scratch them out. Let's see what happens when we turn it up to 120 almost. This is a lot faster when I'm not recording a video too. Ooh, look at that. And I can change the size of them and all that too. Like a lot of the times I'll just change this value. So it's a lot easier. I feel like it's less destructive, and you don't have to compute it for so long. Imperfections, and then our width. And some other things you could play around with. It's really not that crazy. It's just some imperfections to the glass. I'm mostly proud of the cloth. I think I had a lot of things going on with that. The glass was just something that was necessary for any project that I could use over and over again, like for windows and stuff. But I think it's starting to come together. Everything looks somewhat cohesive, which is a surprise for it being my first time using Substance Designer. But either way, if you liked any of the materials, feel free to let me know. I honestly have no problem with letting you use them for your art projects or showing you sort of my thought process with everything. And let me know what you think. So, thank you.